Hello everyone and welcome to part 27 of my F1 Challenge career. Today we are going to Germany for the German Grand Prix at the Hockenheimring, the classic Hockenheimring, a very good circuit. We had a really decent race last season where we got second place. We hope to go one step further and get back to our winning ways here at McLaren. I will now hand you over to the commentator.
Just before the free practice session begins, let's take a quick look at the Drivers' Championship. Hakkinen is leading the Drivers' Championship, but having finished second in the last race, he'll be hoping to go one better and win here at Hockenheim. Schumacher second. The McLaren driver third. Well, that covers the drivers. Let's take a quick look at the constructors next. McLaren are running away with the Constructors' Championship. Ferrari are second. Williams are third. Located near the historic city of Heidelberg, the high-speed Hockenheim circuit consists of two very distinct. The outer section that runs through the sprawling pine forests combines huge straights with fast chicanes, whilst the technical stadium section consists almost entirely of slow corners. Originally built as a test track for Mercedes cars, this is the fastest circuit on the Formula One season.
So we jump into practice for this German Grand Prix. We start off with a huge crash because I set my recording settings on a very weird setting, which meant the FPS was doing like weird drops and then rises. But eventually we managed to set a lap and we're going to go across the line, and our teammates set a 45.9, we've set a 46.3, so we're on the pace already in this Grand Prix. We're not going for the extreme setup that we did last season where we had over 200 mph top speed. We're going to be closer to the AI this time, as I feel I can make up better time in the last sector. But we set a 44.8, which is our best time in practice, to move on to qualifying, and it's monsoon conditions here, and I am not very good in monsoon conditions. As you can see on my outlap, I literally just have a really clumsy spin, the same kind of thing I did in Austria, where I just drove into a wall, but this time didn't hit a wall, so we managed to get back on our way. And then just a few corners later, I do exactly the same thing, into the gravel trap, and then I nearly get hit by the Benetton there. I think of Giancarlo Fisichella, but we eventually start a lap here, and we're trying to actually get it together, but then we spin again. So, not going so well, and we're going to run out of laps soon if we keep on spinning around. But eventually, on lap 4, which is about 15 minutes later in this session, I managed to set a time. It's 55.9, which is quicker than Frenton did. But then I'm about 6/10 up, you'll see in the top right. I'm running out of fuel as well, but I go wide the last corner, and Michael Schumacher actually gets past, and I put on the power, and then I hit the wall, and that's going to be the end of our session. And Michael Schumacher's beaten us, and we'll now see where we are on the grid.
Hello there. Welcome to Germany for round 11 of the 2000 FIA Formula One World Championship. The weather, as so often is the case here, is just wonderful. Mika Hakkinen just got the edge over his teammate. He starts from first. Michael Schumacher consistently outpaced his championship rival, the McLaren driver. Barrichello third. Ralf Schumacher fourth. The McLaren driver performed brilliantly in qualifying to line up fifth. Trulli sixth. Frenton seventh. Eddie Irvine eighth. Jacques Villeneuve, 9th. Fisichella, 10th. Alexander Wurz, 11th. Herbert, 12th. Zonta, 13th. Alesi, 14th. Mika Salo, 15th. Nick Heidfeld, 16th. Verstappen, 17th. Button, 18th. De La Rosa, 19th. Genet, 20th. Pedro Diniz, 21st. Mazzacane, 22nd.
So we start in 5th place for this 2000 German Grand Prix. We are starting on the intermediates. Some of the AI are starting on the wets as we have the lights. and we are going. Being a bit rusty on the start, I've made a really poor getaway, trying not to spin out, and we've been passed by the Jaguar. And we've been really, really cautious into turn 1. I couldn't remember how close it was, and we've dropped down to 9th place. And on the exit of turn 1, we are right behind Johnny Herbert, and we can't see a thing. I can't see anything that's further on the circuit. And I think we're getting close to Johnny Herbert. Yes, we are. His rear wing has just appeared, and we're going to go down the inside, are we? A Jim Clark curve. Going down the inside. Can we outbrake him? Yes, we can. We're going to have a look at Giancarlo Fisichella. Yes, we are. But we can't quite get it. He squeezes us out, and maybe we can slipstream him down into Ost curve and see whether we can get him, although we may get him just in a straight line here. We're pretty close, and we've got the Mercedes engine, which is the most powerful compared to his Playlife engine, I think it is. But we are past Giancarlo Fisichella and up into 7th place. We've now got Eddie Irvine in front of us, but we're now going to take a look at the replay of the start, and you'll see that I don't get a very good getaway, but it looks like Heinz-Harald Frentzen there didn't even get away from the grid, so he's retired already, and you can see the amount of spray being offered, and you see that the Jaguar just goes straight past me there, and Ricardo Zonta actually looking like he wants to pass me as well, but we then slipstreamed the Jaguar all the way down here, and you see that the only 2 cars you can see there are Mika Hakkinen. I think that's Rubens Barrichello. That shows how bad the spray was, especially towards the second turn. But we went down the inside of the Jaguar, and we nearly had a look at Giancarlo Fisichella, but he just kept ahead until the next straight, which we just slipstreamed him and went past. But later on lap 1, you can see the Jaguar there actually going down the inside of Jarno Trulli and taking him really, really easily. I think Jarno Trulli is on the wets while Irvine, sorry, was on the inters. But we now need to pass Jarno Trulli, and we've actually hit the back of him. He's gone really slowly on the apex there, totally unexpected. And we're now going to have to go into the pits for a pit stop on the first lap. Now, unfortunately, I did have a look at the fuel at this point and think, what could I do with it? But I couldn't fill it up to the end, so I may as well just keep it as it is, because I think the track is drying out. So I may as well keep it on 8 laps of fuel, just change my tyres, change my front wing, obviously, get going and try and set some really good times and try and catch up to the pack. But leaving our pit stop, and we are in 21st. I think that's going to go up to 20th, because I think the other Jordan's going to retire now, obviously, with no rear wing. But leaving the pits, we are a good 15 seconds behind Mazzucane as we look at a replay of what happened. And you'll see that we're in the stadium section currently, and then into Sud curve, we just get it all wrong. I don't know why, I just didn't brake properly or something. But these are his rear wing, we pulled straight into the pits. But on lap 3, we actually caught up at the Minardis, both of them fighting each other into the stadium section, and we're going to have a look down the inside of the Minardis. One of the Minardis actually moves there to try and cover, to try and overtake the other Minardi, but we just go straight down the inside and say, nope, you're not doing that right now, I'm getting past, and I am up another 2 places. I think that's into 18th, but now we're slipstreaming Pedro Diniz. Can we get him into Ayrton Senna curve? We've got the slipstream, we're going down the inside, and I think we've got it pretty easily, to be honest. And yes, we have, although we did cut the corner a little bit. But later on that lap, seems like that Benetton has got damage, because we went straight past the 2 arrows and the Sauber's got no front wing. I had to be really careful here not to crash into the back of Alexander Wirtz. We were very lucky there when I hit the back of him that didn't knock off my front wing again. But we then went round the outside of the Benetton at Sud curve and we were fine. But then moving on to lap 6, Eddie Irvine's actually pitted for the inter tyres. He obviously started on the wets, and we're now slipstreaming him down into maybe the Ost curve. I think it's Ost curve, yes it is Ost curve. Down the inside, we're side by side, but I get it done. And we now got Jensen Button and I think 2 Prosts ahead of him. But Jensen Button is attacking, I can't remember which Prost it is, maybe Nick Heidfeld. We're slipstreaming Jensen Button here. We're very, very close. It looks like we're going to be able to get past him. Loads of spray being thrown up when he's off the racing line. We've got Jensen Button. Can we get Nick Heidfeld? Yes, we can. We just need to make sure that our braking is fine into Ost curve, which it is. And that's us up into 8th place with only Michael Schumacher 7 seconds down the road. We're moving on to lap 9. Ralf Schumacher has pitted, I think, for fuel this time, not for new tyres. I think he started on the inters, and we're slipstreaming him down into the Jim Clark curve. Can we get him? We're going down the inside. It's going to be a pretty easy move. We've got the momentum, and we've got warm tyres, and we're going to just brake normally. And you see that Michael Schumacher's 5 seconds up the road, but I'm pretty sure he's done a fuel stop as well. So I don't think we'll be challenging them in this Grand Prix because the AI has good pace around here. I haven't changed difficulty settings even in the break that I didn't play it for a while. We're moving on to lap 9, and of course we have to come in for our fuel stop, and I think it's time to go on to the soft tyres, the dry tyres. Remember, they're grooved, so they're not quite as bad as slicks in wet conditions. They will offer a bit more grip, because in the actual 2000 Grand Prix, Rubens Barrichello won on slicks, where in the last sector was practically nearly wet tyres. But having our pit stop now, having all the fuel we need, we've got 14 laps with only 12 laps to go, making sure we have all the fuel. We're down into 9th, I think we're going to be down into 10th as well. Giancarlo Fisichella goes past us, and Jensen Button is in the pit, so we're down into 9th, and we've got some passing to do if we want to get some points in this Grand Prix. But it takes a very long time until lap 11 to get near Giancarlo Fisichella, but we're slipstreaming him down into the stadium section. Can we get him into Sachs? Going down the inside, and he actually does try around the outside. He does give it a go, but I just block him off, and that's easy pickings. And we now need to try and catch up Ricardo Zonta, the BAR, running very well in 7th place. But you see, you go down the inside, and you see that he just squirts the throttle and nearly manages to get back around me, but he fails in the end. But we're on lap 16 now. You can see that the BARs are running really well in 5th and 6th, and I go wide there, and it's still wet, remember, although the track doesn't look very wet. You see the sprays being kicked up there by the BAR. The BARs are really fighting, but it looks like Ricardo Zonta is now coming into the pits, which is going to move us into the points, and we now need to attack Jacques Villeneuve in the BAR, and I think that's going to be the highest we're going to be able to get in this Grand Prix. But on lap 18, we're slipstreaming him down into the stadium section. Can we get him into Sachs like we did with Giancarlo Fisichella? Going down the inside, and we've done the same move, and we have passed him. So that's a pretty easy move there. Now looking at the replay, you can see that I just did an almost identical move, except for Jacques Villeneuve didn't really keep his foot in on the outside. He could have held it round there. There was space. We're moving on to lap 19. We've actually gone wide, and we've gone on the gravel, and we've gone wide at the second to last corner, and that's allowed Jacques Villeneuve back past. So we've now got 3 laps to try and cut down that gap, and that BAR had really good pace in this Grand Prix, so it's going to be difficult to catch him up. But we're going to look at a replay of what happened, and I just got wide, and I just put my tyres on the grass, and of course that gives you no turning ability and no braking ability, and Jacques Villeneuve was straight past. So now it's a real task to try and get past Jacques Villeneuve for 5th place in this Grand Prix. We're on lap 21, the penultimate lap, and we're slipstreaming him down into the Ayrton Senna curve. Can we get him? We're getting closer and closer. There's still water on the track off the line, which I had to be very careful about. But we can't attack him into the Ayrton Senna curve, so we're going to have to maybe shape ourselves up for a look into the stadium section. But back in his slipstream, we're going to try and pass him yet again like we did earlier. And with Giancarlo Fisichella going down the inside of Jacques Villeneuve, can we get him going down into the braking 3rd gear corner? And Jacques Villeneuve's actually managed to hold it round the outside, so it's an absolutely brilliant move. And I just can't believe that he managed to hold it round there. But taking a look at the replay, you'll see that I did almost exactly the same thing that I did with the others, except Jacques Villeneuve took a very wide line off the track to get himself a better turn in for the corner. He managed to hold it round the outside, so you have to give him hats off for that move. That was a really good defensive move. But we're now on the last lap. Rubens Barrichello has won the race by an absolute mile, by around 20 seconds. I don't know how he managed to do that, but we're behind Jacques Villeneuve. We're going to slipstream him down into the stadium section yet again. We're going to have to try and make it stick this time. So we're going to try and push him out maybe on the outside. We've got a lot of speed. Go down the inside of the stadium section, going into the braking. We've gone a bit wide to try and block him off, but he's held around the outside, but he's on the grass and he's lost a lot of speed. And we're going to try going down the inside, but we've gone wide. And Jacques Villeneuve's back through, and I don't think there's going to be a passing opportunity because we went on the water on the edge of the circuit, and it's going to be very unlikely that we're going to pass Jacques Villeneuve in this last corner. But we're going to finish in 6th place, which is an alright recovery considering our crash on the first lap. But that is the end of our race in 6th place, as we're now going to take a look at a replay of that last part of the lap, and you'll see that Jacques Villeneuve had an amazing Grand Prix here. The BAR had some really good pace. I was really surprised by how fast it was. And the McLarens and Ferraris, I looked at the overall timings, weren't just running away from me. So the BAR having decent pace, but I went down the inside and I tried squeezing him out. He didn't actually take a really wide line there, but he then went wide and went on the grass, and I took a dive down the inside, but I outbroke myself, and then I went on the water on the edge of the circuit and I couldn't turn, and that's Jacques Villeneuve through. But Rubens Barrichello wins this race, a brilliant race for him, and my old teammate Ralf Schumacher finished second, so that's good to see. But I will now hand you over to the results.
It's been a fascinating German Grand Prix. Let's take a look at the final results. Rubens Barrichello first. Schumacher second. Michael Schumacher third. Hakkinen fourth. Villeneuve fifth. The McLaren driver sixth.
Looking at the results then, and you'll see that my old teammate Ralf Schumacher only just finished ahead of Michael Schumacher and Mika Hakkinen, so that was as close as it was to us, to Jacques Villeneuve. But a really good Grand Prix, I think, with plenty of excitement. Not the greatest result, but we haven't lost too much to the leaders in the championship.
With the results confirmed, it's high time we updated the Drivers' Championship. Hakkinen first.
Yup, so Hakkinen is still in first place and Michael Schumacher in second. We do lose points to them, but not as many points. But Rubens Barrichello is now only 7 points behind us, so it looks like he has returned in this championship, and he is going to be our main rival, but we are still challenging for the championship here.
McLaren stay ahead in the Constructors' Championship, despite having their lead reduced by this result. Ferrari are second, followed by the third-placed Williams.
Yep, so it was a big score for Ferrari today. They're only 10 points behind us now, and Williams secure their third place in the championship. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and I really hope this hits 45 likes. But I will see you next time, and I've forgotten which Grand Prix it is, but I hope it's good. Bye bye.